Ryan Reynolds no longer qualifies as a traditional movie star, and this didn't happen by chance. Hollywood never officially dismissed him. Instead, they just quit offering the exact type of role he was perfectly suited for. This narrative explains how the whole entertainment landscape changed under him, rendering his unique style of talent irrelevant within the same machinery that once elevated him. It serves as a caution to any performer still navigating the Hollywood landscape. Today we dissect the 3 decisive strategic errors that pushed Reynolds to the sidelines. We examine the financial figures, the massive changes in studio priorities, and the single transaction that turned him into a billionaire but erased his status among top-tier leading men forever. This isn't a tale of collapse through incompetence. This is deliberate obsolescence. His billion-dollar zenith and the concealed downfall. The height of the Reynolds contradiction. Let's go back to the summer of 2018. Ryan Reynolds sits at the absolute pinnacle. Deadpool 2 has just pulled in more than $1.3 billion around the world. He isn't merely famous, he's become a full-blown cultural force. The fourth wall-shattering, quick-witted, wisecracking mercenary isn't simply a part he plays. It represents the ultimate merger between performer and character. Hollywood's chosen one. The blueprint appears set. This moment should launch 10 years of unchallenged supremacy. The next George Clooney, the next Brad Pitt. Yet here lies the central contradiction we're about to unpack. Precisely when he ruled the global box office, the classic Ryan Reynolds star vehicle, the foundation of his entire career, had already been quietly terminated. The studios had silently discontinued that formula. That enormous $1.3 billion haul wasn't an invitation for more of the same. It marked the closing celebration. Consider the evidence. Prior to Deadpool, a Ryan Reynolds picture meant the appealing, good-looking protagonist anchoring a moderately budgeted comedy or romantic comedy. The Proposal, Definitely Maybe, Just Friends, dependable, profitable projects where studios could confidently invest around $60 million, knowing a return was almost guaranteed. That defined his territory. Yet after 2018, try naming even one traditional Ryan Reynolds feature that came afterward. Exclude superhero entries and Netflix action comedies engineered for algorithms. Name one conventional theatrical release built entirely around the draw of Ryan Reynolds himself. You won't find one, because the industry had already abandoned that incarnation of him. The machinery advanced, and his precise pre-Deadpool function was erased from the system. So how does such a transformation occur? How can someone become simultaneously too valuable to flop and yet too narrowly defined to cast in the very roles that shaped his identity? The explanation lies in the ruthless arithmetic of influence and revenue. The demise of the mid-budget leading man. To grasp the downfall, you must first comprehend the environment that originally produced Ryan Reynolds. His rise before Deadpool rested entirely on the mid-budget star-driven model, a polished, consistently lucrative system. From the late 1990s into the late 2000s, studios routinely approved projects like The Proposal with budgets hovering near $40 million. They handed the lead, whether Reynolds or Sandra Bullock, a salary between $10 and $15 million. The production focused on witty dialogue, familiar faces, and minimal reliance on elaborate visual effects. Theatrical earnings were solid, often $150 to $200 million globally. But the true moneymaker wasn't ticket sales. It was home video. This overlooked powerhouse sustained Hollywood's star system during that era. Most genuine profit arrived post-theatrical through DVD purchases, rentals, and eventual broadcast rights. The actor's image on the cover became the decisive marketing weapon. Their recognizable appeal carried measurable commercial worth in the retail space. Ryan Reynolds' signature smirk literally moved physical copies off store shelves. That structure bankrolled long careers, delivered steady performers, and supported a whole tier of leading talent who didn't need to be action icons. Then the model imploded. Streaming platforms and digital purchases annihilated DVD income. Almost instantly, one of studio's most reliable profit sources disappeared. Simultaneously, international box office, especially in places like China, surged dramatically. This produced a harsh new equation. Why gamble $40 million on a lighthearted Ryan Reynolds rom-com unlikely to resonate in major overseas markets when the same money could fund a $200 million superhero blockbuster or fantasy franchise capable of reaching $1 billion worldwide? The mid-budget personality vehicle didn't merely become less profitable, it turned into an inefficient use of capital. Here we witness Reynolds' initial serious miscalculation. Sensing the tectonic shift, he attempted to muscle his way into the emerging paradigm. Green Lantern in 2011 and RPD in 2013 represented disastrous efforts to overlay his sarcastic wit onto high-cost, effects-laden franchises. Those failures weren't ordinary disappointments, they were unmistakable warnings. They demonstrated that studios no longer understood how to utilize Ryan Reynolds inside a $150 million framework. He didn't fit. The only remaining slots were massive, billion-dollar IP ecosystems. This marked the first catastrophic strategic blunder, pursuing large upfront paydays in an industry that had ceased placing value on them. In the former system, the performer was the intellectual property. In the current one, the franchise, the comic book, the toy line, the established brand is the real star. The actor has become interchangeable support staff. Reynolds continued positioning himself as the central attraction in an arena that now exclusively books long-running series. The IP cage and the Netflix escape. Deadpool didn't represent a return to form. It was an escape maneuver. Following the back-to-back disasters of Green Lantern and RPD, Reynolds had become toxic for major franchise projects. Yet, in classic Hollywood irony, the only antidote to being damaged by one IP was attaching to a different one. The high-stakes bet, Deadpool, a niche comic character celebrated for its self-referential humor and adult-oriented violence, offered the ideal platform for Reynolds to deploy his signature traits, sarcasm, self-awareness, charisma, while simultaneously ridiculing the very franchise apparatus that had rejected him. The gamble succeeded beyond imagination. The movie became a cultural detonation because it registered as a rebel triumph. Performer and role fused inseparably in public perception. But this moment reveals the second, more dangerous industry evolution: the IP entrapment. Studios no longer employ actors. They contract franchise caretakers. The assignment isn't to embody Ryan Reynolds. The assignment is to serve as the palatable steward of an already established asset. Robert Downey Jr. became Iron Man. Chris Evans became Captain America. Ryan Reynolds became Deadpool. This arrangement delivers extraordinary recognition and riches, yet it binds you symbiotically to one property. Your creative identity gets subsumed by the brand. For Reynolds, the confinement grew even tighter. He didn't merely guard Deadpool, he became the guardian of meta-critique itself. His brilliance lay in acknowledging, through winks and asides, the absurdity of the franchise machine while simultaneously being its highest-earning output. That paradox imposed an impossible expectation. Every future performance had to recreate that exact ironic detachment. He no longer sold characters. He sold a particular stance toward characters. Examine the projects that arrived after Deadpool's breakthrough. Free Guy and the Atom Project appear at first glance to be fresh successes. Look closer at their architecture. Free Guy revolves entirely around intellectual property concepts, a background character in a video game world achieving awareness. Its comedy relies heavily on familiarity with gaming culture, Disney-controlled franchises, Marvel and Star Wars references, and blockbuster conventions. It's essentially a celebration of popular media starring the performer most identified with poking fun at popular media. The Atom Project functions as homage to 1980s/1990s adventure pictures, powered by nostalgia for earlier franchises rather than original emotion. Its structure borrows beats and atmosphere from pre-existing works. These aren't classic leading man showcases. They are meta-exercises dependent on audience knowledge of other IPs and genres. Reynolds no longer performs in films. He guides viewers through cinematic cliches. His public persona evolved into an overlay of ironic observation placed atop ready-made material. That specialization made him extremely lucrative for a very restricted category of projects, but it stripped away his capacity to anchor straightforward, emotionally authentic human stories. That limitation paved the way for the decisive misstep that sealed his departure from conventional movie stardom, the full pivot to Netflix. From traditional movie star to billion-dollar brand empire, our account now shifts from Hollywood studio lots to international corporate boardrooms. Ryan Reynolds' true masterstroke, the decision that completely redefined him and sealed Hollywood's silent withdrawal, wasn't another movie role. It was the calculated purchase of Aviation Gin followed by Mint Mobile. This represented the decisive maneuver and the point of no return. Reynolds ceased attempting to conform to Hollywood's evolving rules and instead constructed an independent empire where he held full ownership, served as CEO, and directed creative vision. He transplanted the exact on-screen identity, self-mocking, meta-aware, disruptively likable, directly into consumer marketing. Review the numbers. His 2018 stake in Aviation Gin went far beyond paid promotion. He acquired meaningful equity. He didn't merely feature in commercials, he personified the brand. When Diageo acquired Aviation Gin in 2020, his portion alone generated over $300 million. With Mint Mobile, his equity stake combined with his marketing ingenuity drove explosive expansion, culminating in T-Mobile's $1.35 billion purchase. Reynolds' share reportedly exceeded $300 million again. Make no mistake, the wealth accumulated through these ventures now vastly surpasses anything achievable through acting alone. A $20 million film paycheck ranks among Hollywood's highest rewards. He earned several times that amount from one telecom transaction. The center of financial gravity in his life has permanently relocated. He no longer functions as an actor who engages in business. He operates as a billionaire entrepreneur who sometimes appears in films. This reality activates Hollywood's most unspoken, unbreakable principle. The industry methodically eliminates anything it cannot dominate. Studios can control traditional stars, securing multi-picture deals, enforcing promotional obligations, shaping public perception around releases. But how do you exert control over a billionaire whose main assets and focus reside in his personal brands? How do you convince Ryan Reynolds to dedicate 18 months to a punishing worldwide press circuit when his most profitable hours are spent writing clever Mint Mobile social media posts? His negotiating power is total, and his allegiance belongs not to any studio but to his own commercial portfolio. This explains the silent withdrawal. It isn't blacklisting. It is calculated detachment. When executives now review casting options, Ryan Reynolds no longer appears simply as talent. He appears as a multifaceted business partnership. Hiring him requires engaging his entire production and marketing operation. It means negotiating with an entity that will inevitably treat the film as another channel to promote his gin, his telecom brand, his soccer club. His creative involvement will be extensive because he isn't hired help, he's an equal partner and CEO. Consequently, he no longer headlines studio pictures. He licenses his brand to compatible platforms. Recent choices tell the story clearly. Spirited on Apple TV+, where Apple functions more as a distribution channel than a classic studio, Deadpool and Wolverine. Returning to the single IP where he retains partial ownership and creative safety within meta boundaries, the upcoming Red Notice sequel on Netflix, the ultimate algorithm-driven platform. These decisions do not reflect someone ascending the Hollywood hierarchy. They reflect a brand executive selecting suitable outlets for cross-promotion. Hollywood didn't discard Ryan Reynolds for underperforming. They stepped back because he outgrew their system on a level they could not access or influence. He engineered an escape route before they realized he was planning his departure. The youthful, affable leading man of the proposal has vanished not through decline, but through metamorphosis into an entirely new category of celebrity for which the traditional Hollywood structure has no slot. He transformed himself from employee of the boardroom into occupant of the boardroom, and by doing so, removed his own name from future casting considerations. Recapping the three fundamental industry transformations. First, the collapse of the DVD market destroyed the mid-budget personality vehicle he was designed for. Second, the dominance of franchise IP locked him into the narrow role of meta commentator, a lane that eventually funneled him toward the highly paid but creatively confining Netflix model. Third, his creation of a billionaire-scale brand portfolio rendered him an ungovernable force within an industry built on total control. Ryan Reynolds didn't stumble. He executed an expert analysis. He recognized that Hollywood stardom is merely a temporary byproduct of usefulness. The instant your usefulness threatens the system's dominance, your position becomes precarious. Reynolds didn't merely approach that edge, he anticipated it, constructed an alternative path, and demolished the original bridge behind him. His trajectory delivers Hollywood's most powerful teaching. Sometimes the ultimate winning strategy is to abandon their game completely. This represents one example of fame's fragile economic reality. Who deserves similar examination next? Share your thoughts in the comments. For additional deep dives into the business decisions and power plays that end Hollywood careers, subscribe and enable notifications. The genuine narrative always unfolds off camera.